DISSH is one of those brands that you've probably seen plastered all over your Instagram because all of the girls seem to be wearing it. And I thought today we could nail down the best pieces to buy from the DISSH website right now. I have tried quite a number of their items over the past few years, and so I really know what to look out for, and I'm going to be sharing with you some of those little tidbits throughout, along with the types of items that I would actually avoid buying from them. I am going to have all of my sizing information, everything linked down below, and over on my website I'm going to have a corresponding blog post where I also share the exact item measurements of all of the pieces that I'm sharing with you today, which I hope will be really helpful. So first up, of course, we have the Celine vest in that beautiful pebble color. This is just such a lovely sandy beige neutral with the matching tortoise button shells down the front. This to me feels like a bit of an upgrade on their classic waistcoat that they did a couple of years ago, that they really sort of launched their linen range with. The matching Nora trousers for those are fantastic, exceptional value for money because they're also lined. But the thing I like about this is that you do have that additional length, so this is great if you have a longer torso, and it just allows you to play with some slightly different proportions. Looks beautiful worn with a white sort of maxi length skirt underneath. And then when you go to the back, this is really the detail that I think sets it apart. It has a tie here, so you can really adjust the fit and cinch it in as much as you like, so you can have that really snatched waist. I just think this is utterly chic with all the darting as well. It creates this beautiful tailored finish, and it is fully lined too, and that's definitely something that I feel you see a lot with DISSH pieces, is that they are generally lined, which means that there's kind of that additional attention to detail. The fabrication is a beautiful twill. It is a poly blend, so this goes for all the pieces in the Celine range. They're all the same fabric, but in my experience, this tends to be quite a good sort of robust, hard-wearing fabric for the office as well. You can throw it in the washing machine and it's going to come out looking fab. So that's the Celine vest, and it looks amazing paired with the matching Celine trousers, also in the pebble. These have this interesting detail with the belt loops where it's actually two loops, which adds this additional kind of heft detail to the trousers. Single pleat down the front, and they're, in my opinion, the perfect cut for a pleat front pant because they have this beautiful ease, this relaxed fluidity through the leg, but then they aren't too wide where they feel like they're swamping you or swallowing you whole. The actual cut and fit of these is very reminiscent of the Rowan pant, and I actually feel like this might be kind of an upgrade on that style. I would say probably the only two differences I have noticed would be, aside from the double belt loop, is that they feel like they're cut ever so slightly slimmer through the leg, but marginally so, and maybe just a touch longer as well. And then of course the fabric does feel different. The Rowan pants are among one of my favorite pieces from DISSH. However, they do have a bit of maintenance because they pill. So every 2 washes, I tend to just run over them with a fabric shaver and they come out looking like new. Just wanted to highlight that because that can be a little bit of a deal breaker for some people when you have that unexpected maintenance. But you know, we care for our clothes, and then they last us a really long time. Unlike the vest, these ones aren't fully lined through the leg. However, the fabric feels very, very comfortable against the skin. And then the final piece in this little trio, and I will say I wouldn't personally wear all 3 of these items together. I actually prefer either the pants with the blazer or the pants with the vest, is the Celine blazer. And I will say this again feels very reminiscent of the fit of the Rowan blazer, just in a slightly updated fabrication, and having that lining I think really just kind of adds to the piece, makes it feel a little bit more elevated. It is a single breasted style with the double button closure here on the front. I think just a beautiful version of the boyfriend blazer because it isn't too slouchy, not too wide. It's not like the Frankie Shop B blazer, which kind of has its place, but it is enormous. This is great even if you're petite. And I've seen these styles from DISSH on a range of body shapes and heights, and I can confirm that it has looked good on everyone I've seen it on. So that has to be my favorite little trio of pieces from DISSH from their current collection, which I think is absolutely brilliant. I want to talk about a category that DISSH does very well, and they're kind of known for it. They're linen dresses. And I will say the thing that I really like about the majority of their linen dresses, the ones that I have tried, is that they're all lined. So you're going to have this extra heft to the fabric. It just feels like that additional finishing touch, which makes it feel like you are getting good value for your money. This piece here is called the Shannon dress. I got it late last year and I've worn this loads, despite it being wide, and I've got 2 young kids. They're always getting it grubby. I throw it in the wash, put it in a soak, and it always comes out looking like new. It has the concealed side zip detail, and this is a really great little element, especially when you can see it's been finished really nicely. body. I would say probably the only drawback for this particular style on me is that I am very small chested and I don't really fill this out properly, so you can kind of see that I have a little bit of room here when I am wearing a soft cut bra, but when I'm wearing a padded bra or a strapless bra that does have that padding in it, fills it out nicely and looks amazing. So I probably don't have the same body type as their fit model, and that's always something to keep in mind. Their longer dresses, their midi dresses, often do come to full length, even on me, and I'm 172 centimeters tall, so if you're petite, keep that in mind because you might need to get them taken up, but their mini dresses will all be perfect on you. One thing I will say to keep in mind when you are looking at their linen dresses, and I'll pop some of my favorites linked down below, but look at the cut, the way that it's going to sit on the body, because some of the styles, they look kind of cute in theory, but when you think about them a little bit more critically, you can see that maybe they might not be ideal for a variety of reasons. You also want to look out for the styles that are lined, because I find that they are going to be better quality overall. But their linen dresses, for the most part, you really just cannot go wrong. The next piece I want to talk about is the Sophia knit tunic top. So this is a longer style kind of knitted tank that has a split to the side, and this is just so utterly chic when worn over a maxi length skirt, and that's the way they've styled it on the website. And we're seeing a lot of this very specific silhouette around the internet right now. This is a very easy way to achieve that while still having the functionality of a top that you can wear in a multitude of ways. I love this one with trousers too, or alternatively you could tuck it in if you're wearing something that is especially high-waisted, or even if you don't mind just having a little sliver of skin peeking out on the side. I think that is very chic too. This is in a ribbed fabrication. It has a lot of kind of stretch to it, which is nice. It kind of contours to the body. It has a boat style neckline, which I think looks very chic, very elegant. And then you have this slight kind of lattice effect here down the sides. It's a really small detail, and hopefully you're going to be able to catch it in the cutaways, but I think it's just one of those things that, again, kind of elevates an otherwise very simple piece. It's all about the cut and the execution. It has a really nice thick trim as well around the armhole, which I personally appreciate. Attention to detail is everything. So that is the Sophia knit tunic. And then I want to move on to a pair of trousers. These are the Kerry trousers, and you'll see these have a cropped finish. These are great if you want a full length trouser, if you are more on the petite end of the spectrum that has a slimmer sort of a style cut to it. We're really seeing this return back to the slightly more slimmer silhouettes, which is very, very nice. So we can bring those older pieces in our wardrobe back out into rotation. The fabrication on this is really nice and thick, very sturdy. Again, this is a poly blend. It feels really kind of a lot more substantial actually than the Celine fabric. It is a little bit more stiff, I would say, in my opinion, but it sits really nicely on the body, and you can kind of see from the cutaways it looks great when you're wearing it with a net, both worn loose and also tucked in. I found that one of the things I appreciated was that there doesn't seem to be any pulling or tugging here at the waistband, which is something that I notice a lot with some of my other trousers, especially where there is the fastening that kind of extends over to the side here. Quite often what will happen is it'll tug and it ends up looking a little bit cheap, whereas just with a single button closure, it looks flush and like it's been finished really nicely. Again, these aren't lined, but they feel very comfortable against the skin. These are kind of the ideal workwear pant. Next piece I wanted to highlight is the Jude layer top, and this I actually was so excited to see because it reminds me a lot of a layered top from St. Agni, which is about 4 times the price. So this is going to give you that same look, but at a much more friendly price point. It's actually 2 tanks that aren't attached as well. So you have this great versatility here where you can wear whichever tank you want as your top layer, but also you can wear them separately too. They're quite sheer, and you'll see in the cutaways I am wearing a skin toned bra, but you can see the lines of it, you can see the outline through the tank, so that it is something worth keeping in mind, especially if that's not something that you feel comfortable with. It is so nice and soft, lovely little rib texture as well, and I think that this is such a fun play on a basic piece. Though if you do want a good basic, their Atwood tanks, which I believe are on the sale, it's one of my favorite items that I own from DISSH. Those are amazing, and they come out of the wash looking and feeling just like new. Behind the Celine set, I have to say, I think that the Enyo linen trouser in this lovely chalk color has to be probably my favorite piece on the DISSH website right now. These are 100% linen. They are fully lined as well, so fully opaque. And the detail I like is how you can achieve this sort of slight paper bag effect here at the front with this lovely tie. I would say probably my only complaint is these ties are incredibly long. So I am sort of toying with the idea of chopping these a little bit shorter, but they kind of add to the drama. These are a beautiful full length pant. They come to the floor on me, and as mentioned, I will have all of the item measurements over on my website in case you want to get into the specifics. But they fit really beautifully on the body. They have that kind of flat detail at the back, one little pocket here. There are no pockets on the sides either, so that is a thing that really allows these to sit quite nicely against the body. And you have that invisible side zip, which has been finished really nicely, and it's actually in a matching color to the trousers. The color is called taupe, but to me it sort of looks like a very soft sage green. A really interesting neutral to have in your wardrobe. Looks beautiful with fresh whites, but then you could pair this with lovely grays and stuff like that as well, or even just some brights if you wanted to give a little bit more dimension too. So I thought that those were absolutely a must-have. Then I want to move on to a dress, which is one of DISSH's most iconic dress styles, and if you are already familiar with the brand, you may already own this. This is the Ada long sleeve midi dress in the off-white color. It comes in a few different colors, also a taupe and the black. And this is a very heavyweight knit rib dress. It has this beautiful rib trim here around the collar. The sleeves sort of flare out ever so slightly, and then you do have that tie detail here at the back, so you can really cinch it in and snatch in your waist. The way that it kind of drapes and hangs, falls on the body is so stunning, and I just feel like everyone I've seen wearing this dress looks phenomenal in it. I will say, if you want a dress that isn't very heavy, then this is probably not the one for you, because honestly, it feels like it weighs a couple of kilos at least, but it's a really perfect sort of winter dress. Imagine this with some boots, knee-high boots underneath, and your big coat. I just think that is such a stunning, easy, classy outfit that doesn't require any thought to it. It really is kind of a cult classic for a reason. I'm wearing it here in the size small, and I would say that it fits true to size, but if you want something that is a little bit more relaxed through the body, you could easily go up a size. But yeah, the actual weight of the fabric, really nice and thick, and it's probably worth noting that you're going to want to wear seam-free undergarments for something like this, so you don't have those lines showing, but I feel like this is one of their best sellers for a reason. Next piece we have here is from the Rowan collection. So these are the Rowan shorts in the bone color. It's a really lovely kind of pearly seashell hue. And this fabric, it feels different to this lean. It's a little bit more loamy, soft, kind of has a little bit more bounce to it, I would say. A little bit less structure than this lean, and it feels maybe a touch thinner, but again, these are all very minute sort of details. It's finished, tailored really nicely. This is a great option if you want to get a tailored short to sort of elevate your everyday outfits, especially on the weekends. They are very comfortable to wear, and the length I think is quite good too. It's short without being too short, although I am going to link an alternative which I have in my wardrobe that gives you that little bit of additional length, and it's a very similar color but in a cotton blend, but a really nice style. And again, these do fit true to size. I just think the Rowan line, this lean line, is really well cut, and it should suit a variety of body shapes as well, because they do have that wider fit through the leg, so they're not going to be hugging your thighs or anything, especially when you're sitting down. Final two pieces, we have the Laken white linen wide leg pants. So these are kind of like your pajama pants, but the pajama pants that you can wear out in public. I believe this is actually part of a set, so you get a shirt to go with it, and then you've got your matching two-piece that you can wear out and about. It looks really chic, just with a t-shirt with a little singlet camisole as well, your big chunky sandals. It's a very kind of beachy, chill, a way to add in that sense of comfort to your everyday outfits. Again, these are lined, so they do have that kind of sense of modesty to them. However, in the white, they are ever so slightly sheer, so you need to be wearing a nude colored knicker with these. I like the fact that the waistband is really thick as well. It's a very comfortable elastic. It doesn't really dig in, and you also have that DISSH branding here just in the center. They have the pockets on the hips as well, which I love, because when you're standing there, you're probably putting your hand in your pocket and sort of slouching to the side. So these are another brilliant piece. The one thing to keep in mind is that there is variations in terms of the quality of the linen that DISSH does. So I personally feel like the linen on the Shannon dress I mentioned earlier is far superior to the linen on the Laken pants, especially in the way that it feels against the hand. This definitely feels a lot smoother, whereas this has a little bit more of a rough feeling to it, and I also think that it might be ever so slightly more sheer. But those are the Laken pants. I think they are such a cool style. And then the final piece I wanted to mention is this lovely little Henley tank here. And this is actually in more of a cropped finish, so it's going to sort of hit you right at the waistband. It's in this lovely grey marl, and then you have these kind of pearlescent buttons down the front which you can wear loose. I reckon if you want to get that very chill effect with something like this, I would recommend sizing up a size or two. You can see how it fits me as quite kind of figure hugging in a way. You'll be able to see what I mean just from the cutaways. It is ever so slightly sheer, so just something to keep in mind, and does also come in a couple of other colors. I would say if you're opting for the white, you're definitely going to be able to see whatever you've got on underneath, so you really need to be kind of buying it with that in mind. Again, I just think this is a fun way to elevate one of your basics you've got in your wardrobe. Okay, so now I'm going to share with you the 3 things that I would never buy from DISSH. And the first thing is going to be a big one, but it is their knitwear that has synthetic in it. So anything that has a modicum of acrylic, polyester, anything like that blended into the fabric composition, it is an absolute no-go. And I will say from my experience, it's either going to feel really kind of spongy and strange, almost like it might shrink in the wash, or it's going to feel very plasticky. They have this really beautiful vest, I think it's called the Foster vest, and I ordered this. I was kind of really hoping that it would feel nice, and when it arrived it looked really chic. And I did take a couple of photos, so I'll pop those on screen so you can see how it looked on. This has synthetic in it though, and it just felt really cheap, and I could tell the second I put it in the washing machine it was not going to hold up, so I decided to return it. And that generally has been my experience with their synthetic blended knitwear. That said, their 100% cotton and their merino wool cotton blend knitwear is so stunning, and definitely something to look out for, because I feel like the value that you're getting for the price that you're paying far exceeds it. So that's sort of the first thing that I would avoid buying from DISSH. The second thing that I would avoid buying from DISSH is these really kind of quite delicate sheer knits that they have, and I'll put some examples on screen of the exact top that I mean, but essentially it's something that has been woven in a usually a rayon elastane nylon blend, and it will snag on everything and everything. And the second you get one of those snags, it doesn't look great. So I would recommend avoiding those. And then the final thing that I would recommend avoiding from DISSH is anything in the satin fabrication that they have. Just spend a little bit more and buy the silk version, because the quality is much nicer. The satin pulls so easily. It's also really prone to picking up marks, and I have found that because it is such a high shine fabrication, it's going to highlight any little lump and bump that you might have. So it isn't the best fabric from that perspective. And I do find, especially with these very specific contrast splice pants they have it in the white and black. If you wash this on any setting that is not cold, the black is going to bleed into the white, and it's going to end up making it look really dull and almost grey. So that's kind of what I would look out for. I would say overall, DISSH is a great brand if you are just kind of starting to build up your wardrobe and you're looking for those basics. You want to find a dress that is really chic that you can wear on repeat. Now, touching on quality, I do find that it can sometimes be hit or miss, and I think that's really reflective in the items that I said that I think you should avoid. Also, there seems to be discrepancies and variations in terms of the linen quality that they've used. And I do kind of wonder if this heralds back to the fact that DISSH used to be a fast fashion retailer. They used to be like Princess Polly. So it's very possible that they're using some of the same factories that they were using previously, but just with these more elevated styles. And I don't really know, so I can't say anything further on that, and I'll leave it to you to kind of make your own conclusion. And the final thing that I want to mention is that if you live outside of Australia, all of the orders will be sent by DHL, but duties unpaid. So it means that you're going to be stuck with a tax and duty bill when it arrives into your country. So keep that in mind, because that's going to be an additional cost. And actually on top of that, which is really fascinating to me, is that all of the pricing in US dollars is actually the Australian pricing, but just USD put next to it. So we pay 99 Australian dollars for the Nora pant, whereas you would pay 99 US dollars for the Nora pant. So there are definitely a lot of alternatives that you can probably find in your home country, which are going to be just as good, if not actually better, given that price differential, because I feel like the prices are great if you live in Australia, but then when you add on that sort of additional cost if you live outside of Australia and you're paying in USD, it sometimes, to me, it feels like maybe the value might be lost a little bit. So I just kind of wanted to highlight that here for anyone who doesn't live here, has been wanting to try the brand but is not so sure. And I'm going to link to some of my other favorites across the globe that maybe share the same DISSH vibe but might be a little bit more readily available. So that is a little bit of a rundown of my current favorites from the DISSH website. I hope that you love this, and I want to know what your favorite piece was, so please do tell me down in the comments section below. Make sure to check out that blog post if you want a little bit more info on all the sizing, and thank you so much for spending some of your day with me. If you want more styling tips, more brand reviews, just more ways to utilize your closet and make the most of it, I would love for you to subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell to be notified when I share a new upload. I will see you next week with a brand new video. Thank you so much again for watching, and see you soon. Bye.